In 12th place, Adelaide. I expect improvement, and I think we will get improvement from the Adelaide Crows. In 11th place, St Kilda. People said that I didn't give... People were angry about me not giving reasoning for Richmond finishing 9th. What reason did I give for Adelaide there? I said they'd improve. I didn't give anything other than that. I said, oh, Adelaide 12, they'd improve. Let's move on. And people were angry at me because I didn't put Richmond in the 8s. Make it make sense. They were like, you gave no reasoning. What was the reasoning for Adelaide right there? You're speaking nonsense. I also gave no reasoning for Carlton. You'll get that in a second as well. St Kilda, this is where we start getting into the finals contenders. Again, look at that. St Kilda in 11th. I said we're getting into the finals contenders. I put Richmond in 9th, meaning I literally said Richmond would be a title contender, premiership contender. That they would be a contender. I literally said it. People are going, oh no, you put Richmond 9th. You gave no reasoning. You hate Richmond because you put them in the 8. It's not like there's literal video proof of me seeing yellow and black in 2018. I was happy when they won the flag in 2017. So shut it with your nonsense. The only reason, I had 2 reasons to dislike Richmond, right? One was because it started dominating. If any team except Hawthorn wins 3 flags in 4 years, I'm going to start to dislike them. That's just natural. It's not because I dislike them as a team. It's because I want them to lose. I want them to stop dominating. That's all it is, right? If any other team wins 3 flags in 4 years, I'm going to be the same. Second thing, came to Australia last year for the first time. Richmond smashed Hawthorn. I was there to see it. Okay, that was pretty bad. But people thought, oh, you hate Richmond because of that. No. Of course, I want Hawthorn to batter them at some point. Of course, I do want the revenge for sure. But somehow people think that is linked to me putting Richmond in 9th. I was nice to them. They finished like 13th. They finished 13th. I said they'd be a flag contender, and I put them in. And also, you'll see my reasoning for the top 8, and you'll see, okay, the only debatable one is Carlton. Oh, he put Carlton above Richmond. How dare he do that? But the top 7 teams, I genuinely thought would be better than Richmond that season. So that's another thing. When people were like, you put Richmond in 9th. You gave no reasoning. You definitely hate Richmond. How dare you? That's a bad prediction. It's just like, it's just tedious. It's just tedious. But it's good content. And that's why we're here. I don't think Adelaide will, but I think St Kilda will. So I was wrong there. Adelaide did battle for it, but didn't get there. But Saints did make the 8, and I was wrong there as well. So I'm getting plenty wrong. I've gotten nothing correct so far, position-wise anyway. So that has to be pointed out. But I think St Kilda will. Come run out of battery. I think they'll miss out. Reached the 30-minute mark. Not even in the 8 yet. 4, very close between quite a few teams for the last 2 positions in the 8. And Richmond, one of those teams. So once again, I had them battling for the finals and just missing out. So I just wanted to point that out. In 10th place, the Western Bulldogs. Yes. They're a team that's good enough. So I was a position off with Gold Coast and with Western Bulldogs. I was pretty close to these. A couple at least. I was pretty bad with a lot of them, but close with a few. Adelaide only 2 positions off as well, but I said Adelaide wouldn't be a finals contender. They wouldn't be battling for the 8, so that was incorrect. To be in the 8, but they're also a team that can be bad enough to not be there. I think that describes the Bulldogs pretty well. They're very, very unpredictable, you know. Putting them 5th or putting them 14th, neither one is a bad prediction because you don't know what you're getting with the Western Bulldogs. They are what they are. But when they do play well, they're great. When they don't play well, they're terrible. But it is what the Western Bulldogs is, really. You don't know what you're getting with Western Bulldogs. You don't know. It's like a blind date. Not the best comparison. Also just missing out. 9th again, Richmond. I've not done that because of the song. I genuinely can see them 9th. I think one of Carlton and Richmond will be in the 8. And I picked Carlton. I put Carlton in 8th. Yes. We'll see where that goes. In 7th place... You see what I mean? I said I put Carlton in 8th. Yes. Let's see where that goes. People were angry at me for not giving a reason for Richmond. I gave no reason for Carlton in the 8. No reason. 0 reasons at all. People were like, you gave everyone a reason except Carlton. You have seen video evidence of me not... Sorry, I said that wrong. You guys said... I lost my track here. I've lost my head. I've lost my bloody head. Right? You guys told me... I say you guys, not everyone watching, but like 3 people told me that I gave a reason for every single team except Richmond. I gave no reason for Carlton. I literally just picked between Richmond and Carlton. I picked Carlton. I literally just went eeny, meeny, miny, mo in my head. I picked Carlton. Like, it's just like I did this ladder. I wrote down this ladder in one go. And I'm just like made a few changes. I'm just like, I'm happy. Let's make the video. Okay, so but people were angry that I put like Richmond. Like, I'm just like. Apparently, I hate Richmond because of bloody. Because I put them 9th. They finished 13th. I was nice to them. I made a positive prediction. My word.
Maybe also controversial is Port Adelaide. I'm looking forward. I'm going to make a video reacting to other people's ladder predictions. I feel like they've probably all got Port Adelaide quite low. So I want to see what they said. But I put them 7th. I can see a possible resurgence from Port Adelaide.
I mean, they were top 2 for a while. They did slip down to 3rd, but still. I thought 7th would be a risk because I thought they might finish lower. They actually did better than that. So then again, they played like terrible. They played terrible towards the end of the season, so that's to be said. Awful in the finals. But in the end, it was kind of a bad prediction, just in the wrong direction. I should have put them in the top 4.
They're losing week 1 though. In week 1 they'll be out. But I think they over 23 rounds, over 24
week two,
rounds,
week two. To be fair, they went out on straight sets. So like me saying losing week 1, technically I was right. Technically, because they didn't win a game in the finals, so that has to be pointed out.
The league can have 2 magpies. There's always enough room for 2 magpies.
No, there isn't. At least not real life magpies, anyway.
Maybe not on the streets of Melbourne.
I said that anyway.
Yeah, I can see. And losing week 1, probably a waste of a spot then, if that's the case. In 6th place,
they were a waste of a spot, in fairness. So,
Sydney, probably quite low down.
Put Sydney in 6th as opposed to 8th. Did I get any exactly correct? I always get at least someone, but I've gotten 0. And I'm running out of options now. I mean, no, I put Collingwood first. Okay, yeah, well, that counts. That counts.
I think they'll battle for top 4, and then they'll miss out.
It was going so well. They won't be top 4, I was correct. They didn't battle for top 4, though. That's the main thing. But I put them in the 5th to 8th region, and that's where they finished. It's because of the umpires, but still. That's not bad. I'll take that. There's a few decent predictions. They're just, position-wise they're not correct. But I keep messing myself up because I put Adelaide in 12th, but then I said they won't be battling for the finals. And then I messed myself up with Sydney. They're like, I got the right prediction just with the wrong explanation.
I don't think getting smashed by Geelong will affect them. It will affect them.
It did. It affected them again when they lost again to Geelong.
But it won't be like Adelaide or GWS where they just... It's not going to be like that for them. I think they'll still be a strong top 4 contender.
They weren't like that.
I can see them being a contender, but not doing as well as last year, and also dropping below the top 4 in the last few rounds. I could definitely
not
see
in the last few
happening.
rounds. It was earlier than that.
In 5th place, Melbourne. Probably a bit low for them as well, because I expect them to be back to being better than last year for sure. Maybe back to their form from 2 years ago, which won them the flag, of course.
No, not that.
I think they'll be a contender. By the way, the top 6 Premiership contenders. These are the contenders, all right? No one else is winning it.
It was going so well. I just called Sydney Premiership contenders. I said top 6. I said top 6. I can't even look at the real ladder because Giants finished 7th. If Giants finished 6th, then I would have been like, oh, look at the actual ladder, guys. We had we're top 6 contenders. I said Sydney top 6 contender. Oh, no. Why has no one complained about that? Because plenty of people have gone through the video angry about Richmond and GWS. Why has no one got angry about Sydney and being a Contend. Oh my days. Oh, that's so bad. I feel worse about that than the Giants in 18th. Don't at me.
In the top 4, my winner, a 35-minute video on Boxing Day about the Lions winning the Premiership. I have made my top 4 predictions in line with that video. I also put Sydney 6th in line with that video as well. So that's another thing.
That's my excuse.
In 4th
My
place
excuse.
on the Lions, I think they can finish 4th and win the flag. I think this is very doable. By the way, all those final series, not one grand final, which is not good showing. 2 prelims, lost both. This time, they will win their prelim, and when they get to that grand final at the big stage of the MCG, they will show the haters what they're all about. Okay, it's going to be a Lions Premiership, yeah? It's my firm prediction. I said this back in September. It can happen, my friends, it can happen. Okay, so Brisbane in 4th, but they'll win the flag.
I was 5 points. I mean, they finished 2nd, but apart from that, I was 5 points ahead. I said they'd win the prelim. I also said they'd be in the grand final against Collingwood. I was 5 points away, bro. 5 points away. Just one decision and just one goal in one game. Collingwood scored a couple goals after the siren. So many things, like just one little swing, and my prediction would have been so good for Brisbane, so good. But I'll still take 4th. You know, at least I put them in the top 4.
In 3rd place, Fremantle. I can see them having a great season.
I mean, this might be the worst one. To be honest, I don't get people angry about Richmond 9th and GWS 18th. This was worse than both combined. And the Richmond wasn't even that bad. Freo 3rd, my word, I was fooled. I was fooled by last season. Last season, they made the 8 and they won a final from like 45 points down, something ridiculous like that at half time. They came back and they won. And I thought to myself, okay, next year they'll be back stronger and they're going to push, really push. They'll be a contender again, they'll push for top 4. I put them 3rd. I put Freo in 3rd. And they were pretty awful. The only ones that were worse position-wise were Gold Coast and the bottom 3. So that has to be pointed out. I literally went off that finals game. I literally went off Fremantle Western Bulldogs week 1 of 2022. I went off what I predicted off one game. I looked at that one game and I thought to myself, okay, this team has got something. They got an X factor. Let's put them in 3rd. Let's put them top 4. We'll do that. This is why I keep saying, like, my predictions are not consistent with everything. Like, sometimes I predict based on the previous season. Sometimes I base it off, like, a random thing. Sometimes I base it off one game, like this one. Sometimes I just base it on, like, oh, this team will improve or get worse after last season, and not base it on the previous season. I have different reasonings, different logics for each team. Maybe not like 18 different logics, but like you get the point. There's like 3 or 4 different ways I can go to predict a team to finish a certain place. And obviously sometimes it's because like, oh, it's got to line up with my other prediction videos. So like I put Sydney 6th solely because of my other prediction videos. But Freo in 3rd, regardless, it's still pretty bad. I didn't base it off expectations. I didn't base it off the previous season. I based it off one game last season in the finals. So, pretty bad. But this is the worst one. I think my worst one was still Collingwood 17th in last year. I think that's my worst one, but this is pretty awful.
Do well this season and get in the top 4.
I'm not looking.
I've put them 3rd. In 2nd place, we have the Premiers, Geelong. Yes, obviously they're the Premiers, and yes, they've lost the league.
In the end, it was a bad prediction, but come on, they were dominant last year, won the flag pretty comfortably. I thought, hey, they'll be a contender again. I put them in 2nd, so it's both good. It's good based off the previous season and based off expectations, but based off the actual season itself this year, obviously it was bad. But I guess in the context of March 2023, I'll definitely take it.
Leadership, but you know, they'll still be a contender. Now they got the monkey off their back. Now they know they can do it. Now they are no longer faltering in the finals, and no longer faltering at the MCG in the finals. So now they can push on and see if they can retain this premiership, and I think they definitely can. I hope not.
No, they can't.
Hawthorn fan, but
No, they can't.
In first place, yes, the team I dislike quite a lot, Collingwood. Last year, I predicted them 17th. In my defence, most people predicted them quite low down. Not many actually put them in the 8. But despite everyone doubting them, to their credit, they did incredibly well. To make the top 4 from being so low down the year before in the ladder is nothing short of incredibly impressive. And they made a prelim as well. They did fine. Like, they were only a few points away from beating Sydney as well. They were very close to beating Sydney. I think was it just 1 point? I think it was 1 point. They were so close to
2 away from winning though. 1 away from a draw.
And making a grand final. They were almost there. And when you consider the fact that they were so bad the year before, the level of improvement is crazy. Like, they really shot up like it was nothing. It was insane. And this year, they will already be expected to be good, first of all. Maybe that puts more pressure on them, but I don't think it will. I mean, it will, but I think they'll handle it pretty well. This time round...
Oh, they can handle it. They can handle anything. They don't get... I mean, they looked a bit nervous at some points in the grand final, but they seem like a team that doesn't get nervous. Like, they just know how to handle everything, you know? Like, I watched some videos, you know, analysing them, analysing how they were, and, like, they were laughing before the game started. And I don't mean that, like, it's not in, like, a bad way, but, like, as in, like, they were happy, you know? They weren't coming out with serious faces. They were coming out with, like, a team that was excited to play the game. And it works for them. And their management of the games is just really impressive, you know? Because I said, like, people said, like, oh, they kept winning close games last year. Like, that means really just as good as them, good as their opponents, and then they just have enough at the end. I get that argument, but, like, to win close games that often, there's something a bit more there than just luck, you know? And I saw that last year. This year, they showed it again. And they're showing it in the finals this year. 3 times in the finals, actually, had 3 close games. They know how to manage close games. Like, they're the masters of it, so that has to be said. As much as I don't like them, credit is due here.
We think they will be that good in the regular season to the point where there will be minor premiers. I hope I'm wrong.
I was right. I would go through your comments, but I've covered it in my Stupid Idiots videos. But there's some funny comments you guys had about certain things. I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, Collingwood correct. Geelong obviously very wrong. Why is this still here? Fremantle obviously. That was definitely the worst one. Brisbane in 4th. At least I got them top 4. Melbourne in 5th. They went out on straight sets in 4th, so that's in a way as bad as 5th. Sydney 6th, I guess we'll take it, but the reasoning wasn't great. Port Adelaide 7th, should have put them higher. Carlton in 8th. They finished 5th, of course, did better than that. Richmond in 9th, just missing out. They did worse than that one. Then you got the Dogs. Dogs were about where I expected them to be, actually, but like they were a little bit better than I gave them credit for. St Kilda, obviously, they made the 8. I put them 11th. Adelaide in 12th, put them 10th, but the reasoning was wrong. I said they wouldn't be a finals contender. They were a finals contender. Hawthorn 13th, obviously, was too nice. Gold Coast 14th was up there. North Melbourne 15th and 16th. I thought they'd both improve. I was wrong. Essendon 17th, Giants 18th. So yeah, Essendon and the Giants, they were just victims of my thought process, basically, because I didn't want to put North Melbourne West Coast Hawthorn low down because I didn't think it would happen. And I didn't put Gold Coast low down because, you know, I didn't think I wasn't convinced they'd be that bad, but like by elimination it was either going to be the Giants or Gold Coast, actually. So, and I went with the Giants because I just looked at them in the previous season, judged it based off that, and yeah, they were, again, they won 4 their first 12 games or something, so for most of the season it didn't look like a bad prediction. Yes, the last was a bad prediction, but like if I put them like 14th, it would not look bad at the time. So that has to be pointed out. But yeah, fair enough. These are my ladder predictor videos. This is for the whole season. So this is what I've predicted. So okay, so it's pretty interesting as well. Let's put that there. Not great, if we're being honest. I guess it looks... I mean, you see, Richmond are third in that one. I predicted Richmond to win 16 games. Melbourne second. I put Collingwood 8th in that one somehow. How have I done that then? That's crazy, that is. The Giants were still last. West Coast were down there. I had Hawthorn 14th. Well, that's a very interesting ladder. And then you had the round 11 ladder. So this is a bit more accurate, I guess. The Giants were still 15th. See, after this point, the Giants were still doing pretty badly. So, like, even after my predictions, they were still, you know, pretty low down. Compared to this, you know, I guess a bit more accurate than before, but still not perfect. But at least Freo not in the 8 in this one. I think at the time Freo were quite high, but not in the 8. Then 5 rounds later, did another one. A little bit more accurate here, you know. Essendon 5th. Apart from that, of course, the Giants still down there. See, the expectation still wasn't that high at the time, you know, of the Giants. They were late bloomers, late bloomers. And then I put the Giants in 10th here. So at this point, I was probably being too harsh on them because this is the last 2 rounds. But yeah, again, a little bit more accurate. So there you go.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever